Alrighty. Let me share my screen for day 11. As a reminder, I'm going to be out. I was out 2 days last week, and then I'm going to be out next Tuesday. I have a meeting for on-ramp, so I'm not going to be on campus next Tuesday, but you're going to have a recorded lesson, and you will be expected to get your Chromebook out, watch the video, take the notes, do the homework, turn it in. The only thing you won't have is I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. Maybe I'll leave solutions. Maybe I won't. I don't know if I trust y'all. But I might because I won't be here. Today we're gonna start with FOIL and we're gonna start with FOIL and distributing, which is just multiplying, and then we're gonna do the new stuff, which is factoring. So distributing, y'all all know how to distribute. Y'all are pretty good at it, actually. Y'all learned distributing quite a while ago. So to distribute, we're going to take the 5x and we're going to distribute it into both pieces or both terms. So we're going to distribute 5x into both terms, and distribute just means multiply. We're multiplying. So we're going to multiply the coefficients or the numbers. So this is 5 times 1, so it's 5. And then x times x. When we have x's, it has an exponent of 1. So what we're doing is we're counting exponents. And so if that has a 1 and this has a 1, then we have 2. So it becomes 5x squared. And then we have 5 times 9. What's that? 45. And there's just one x because there's not an x over here. And that is it. Let's do the next one. It's going to be same process. We're going to distribute in the negative 14x to both terms inside the parentheses. So we get negative 14x times 1. Anything times 1 is itself. So we get negative 14x. And then we're going to multiply negative times a negative, which will become positive. What's 14 times 2? 28. And we have x to the first power, so 1 here and 2 here. Yep, very good. And so we add exponents. Any questions so far? This should feel easy. It should feel like a review. You learned this a while back. It's been a minute. Let's have a little brain break. Last class got 1192. Let's see if we can do better than that. Round 1. Name a public place where you've witnessed couples fighting and making a scene. Mall.
Oh.
Maybe like. That one's a good one.
car.
Didn't I just put sidewalk? Oh, that's so silly.
Say. Class. Great. Everyone, your mom. Way.
Thank you. The bar is legit. That makes sense, but I think we don't always think of things like Subway because we don't live somewhere where there is a Subway. The next thing that we're going to talk about is factoring out the GCF. So this is skipping. I'm going to skip around a little bit on the front page. So we're going to skip to question number 7. Does anybody know what the GCF stands for? What does GCF stand for? Anybody remember? It starts with greatest.
Oh,
Greatest common factor. Hey. Here's the stamp. Awesome. I'll just bring it right back when I'm done with it. Awesome. Thank you. So the greatest common factor is the biggest thing that we can factor out of each term. So we kind of look separately at the numbers and the variables. So for this one, what's the biggest number that I could divide out of 5 and 45? 9 doesn't go into 5. 5 is the biggest number that can go into 5 and go into 45. So we're going to divide out. We're going to divide 5. And then what about x's? If I have 2 here and 1 here, what's the most amount that I could pull out? 1. Your greatest, so that for this problem, my greatest common factor is 5x. You will always take your greatest common factor and put it out in front. It doesn't disappear. It just goes into the front. And then I'm going to write down in parentheses what I have left when I divide. So when I divide the first term, 5 divided by 5 becomes 1. And if I have 2 x's on top and 1 on bottom, technically what that looks like is this. If I have 2 on top and 1 on bottom, anytime I have something over itself, it turns into 1. So I'm just left with 1 on top. Another way that you can think about it is that if I have 2 and I take 1 away, and now I have 1. 45 divided by 5 is what? 9. And then this x and this x is what happens here. It turns into just 1, so I don't write it. Or it's 1 minus 1, and so there's no x's left. And that is my answer. If you look back at question number 1, it is exactly the same thing, just going the other direction. When we did question number 1, we were multiplying. When we do question 7, we're dividing. It's the same problem, just depends on which direction you're going. For this problem, we're going to look, and usually if there's a negative in the front, most often, what we're going to do is divide out that negative because we really like to, in parentheses, we like to have a positive first. It's just a math thing. So I'm going to divide out a negative. What's the biggest number that can go into both 14 and 28? What is it? 14, even bigger than 7. 14 works. And then trust me, all day people have been saying 7, so don't feel stupid. If I have 1 here and 3 here, what's the most amount I can pull out? 1. I'm going to write, this is my GCF. I'm going to write it out in front. So I get negative 14x into the front. And then I'm going to write down in parentheses what I have left. Right here, I have negative 14x divided by negative 14x. So anything divided by itself is 1. And over here, I have 28, and this is positive, divided by negative. I know it's here. 28 divided by 14 is what? 2. And then I have 3 minus 1 is going to give me 2. So again, this should give you exactly what we got from question number 2. For question number 9, what's the biggest number that can go into 3, 21, and 60? 3. Okay, so we're going to divide out a 3. What about x's? I can't pull out any x's because this one's missing one, so don't force it. Sometimes you can pull out an x, sometimes you can't. Don't force it. Every term has to have an x to be able to factor it out. So all we're going to pull out is the 3. We're going to write it out into the front. So I get 3, and then I'm going to divide each term by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. I'm not doing anything with the x's, so they're going to stay the same. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And then 60 divided by 3 is what? Bless you. Any questions about GCF, factoring out the GCF? Okay, we're going to be doing this all day, so we got to be really good at factoring out the GCF. Next round. Name something that's really, really hairy. What?
Harry, I got.
What if it's tricky, like a don't kiwis have like hairs? I feel like it's going to be some abstract stuff too, or some things we're not